He could have supplied more wine in a number of ways, but he used what was available, set there for the Jewish custom of purification. This tells us that the water pots are connected with the system of the law of Moses. It's a subliminal dig on the Jewish authorities. The stone vessels were used in ceremonial purifications. The Jews were accustomed to frequently washing themselves as a manner of ceremony according to the law, particularly before eating. Containing 20 or 30 gallons. This lends to the Apostle John's detailed account. Jesus created 120 to 180 gallons of wine. Fill the water pots with water. Is there any significance here? Why does Jesus tell the servants to fill the water pots with water when he could have miraculously done it himself? Did you ever consider that? He's going to make wine, why not make the water? The answer is that Jesus wanted the cooperation of the servants in this miracle. Why would he want their cooperation? Who knew that Jesus was going to turn the water into wine? Who validated it? It's not just the guy sipping it, it's the people filling the pots, right? If the servants themselves filled the jars with water, they could testify that the water was originally in the jars before Jesus performed the miracles. The servants would validate the miracle. Another thing to point out is that the servants will know that they didn't perform the miracle themselves. Right? Their efforts were completely insufficient, but it was in their obedience to Jesus that they were able to share in the joy of the miracle. So, to what extent was their effort? They gave Jesus their full effort, didn't they? They filled the water pots full to the brim. In our obedience to Jesus, we are expected to give our full effort, are we not? And there's a reason why. So they filled them up to the brim. Being filled to the rim or brim, there was no more room to add any more water. It's a sign of completeness. It was important for the Apostle John to mention this because Jesus wasn't going to add anything into the water. If it's completely full, what can you add into it? Nothing. So that takes away what criticism? Oh, you added some little powder stuff, right? So what was Jesus going to do with the water? He was going to transform it, right? This is a pattern for our faith and obedience. When we are charged to believe in Jesus, believe him up to the brim. When we are told to love Jesus up to the brim. When we are commanded to serve Jesus up to the brim. Fill ourselves with Jesus to the brim so that nothing else can be added. Allow the fullness of Jesus to transform us. That's the meaning of this part. John 2, 8 through 10. And he said to them, draw some water out now and take it to the head waiter. So they took it to him. When the head waiter tested the water, which had become wine, and did not know where it came from, but the servants who had drawn the water knew. The head waiter called the bridegroom, and he said to him, every man serve the good wine first, and when the people have drunken freely, then he serves the poorer wine, but you have kept the good wine until now. When the servants were directed to do this by Jesus, what pressure were they under? You have to understand these are servants. If they take this water that they know is water to the head waiter, are they going to fool the head waiter? He's certainly going to know if it's wine or not, right? So there was a lot of pressure on them. But the point is that they obeyed Jesus even in a difficult time. How quickly after the jugs were filled did Jesus say, "Draw a spoonful for the head waiter to taste"? Did they wait 30 minutes, an hour, or was it immediately? Jesus didn't want any time to pass before exposing his miracles. He didn't say, "Go serve the first guest," or the guest first. He told him to go to the head waiter, and that's for a reason. He had to have validity for his miracle by a authority, and that authority was the head waiter. It's not me sitting over there, "Hey, give me some more, give me some more." You know, I'm not going to show any validity to the miracle. He took it to the guy that knew the best about it. But the servants who had drawn the water knew. Who were the first ones to realize that Jesus had performed the miracle? The servants. When did the miracle happen? While the water was in the jars, or was it when they served the head waiter? Does it matter? It happened. How did Jesus perform the miracle? You ever consider that? In other miracles, Jesus usually speaks or spits in the dirt and rubs in the guy's eye, or he tells him, "Go wash yourselves in the river Jordan." There's just a lot of things that Jesus does, but in this miracle, we're not given if Jesus said how he did it. So how did he do it? He willed it, right? He willed it to be done. Why 122? Whoops. Okay, yeah, this question has nothing, it's not on the slide. So what's the significance for the large quantity that Jesus miraculously created? 120 to 180 gallons of good wine. That's a lot for a wedding, especially if there's already been some provided. Do you think there was a reason for Jesus creating so much wine? Well, we get into speculation again, and people think, well, the surplus left over, the newlyweds could sell it, help them financially or whatever. But the main thing is to remember that however much wine Jesus created, it was deliberate. Okay, but you have kept the good wine until now. Who did the head waiter give the compliment to? The bridegroom, not Jesus. The bridegroom. It was the bridegroom so why don't we compliment Jesus? A couple reasons. At the time, only Jesus and the servants were aware of the miracle. Also goes back to the social implications of running out of the wine. The public compliment negated the embarrassment of running out of wine. Not only did the bridegroom provide more wine, he supplied the best of wines. The party turned out even better than expected. So did Jesus miraculously create good wine or really good grape juice? Have you heard that little controversy? Back then, what they do is they ferment the wine and then pour water in it and dilute it so that they could drink more of it and not get looped during the day. So how good was this wine? Well, the scripture tells us it's wine, and it's really good wine. We don't have to worry about it being grape juice. So there's a principle behind the words, "But you have kept the good wine until now." The principle is that no matter how good things are now for the people of God, the best has yet to come. And we'll stop there. 2 minutes over. I apologize.